Right, so we're back to Keir Starmer and his attack ads, as the man himself has borrowed a spine from somewhere, presumably, but not a very strong backbone, since he's now passed comment on the adverts himself, albeit from behind a Daily Mail paywall. Fortunately, I've managed to see a copy of it anyway. In a piece titled "Sunak and his party have let criminals get away with it, I stand by every word Labour has said," Starmer has said, Rishi Sunak and successive Tory governments have let criminals get away with it because they don't get it. They have never lived in those neighbourhoods. They don't understand people's lives. They have never walked in those shoes. I have. I know exactly who suffers when government goes soft on crime. Not those insulated from its effects, but ordinary decent people. But our soft on crime government is only part of the problem. Too many people treat this as trivial, unimportant, or something Labour shouldn't talk about. Working people suffer when crime is left unchallenged. Crime will always be a Labour issue. Try telling the people I meet who are scared to go out at night because their communities suffer the brunt of failures to tackle crime that law and order doesn't matter. They will give you short shrift. I make absolutely zero apologies for being blunt on this. I stand by every word Labour has said on the subject, no matter how squeamish it might make some feel. When 4,500 child abusers avoid prison, people don't want more excuses from politicians. They want answers. My answer has been to make Labour the party of law and order once again. We will choose a different path to the Tories, reforming police, contracting so we can have 13,000 more police and PCSOs on our street, and removing bureaucracy so we have more prosecutors working to clear the backlog in our courts. We will increase minimum sentences for rapists and stalkers and create a law to tackle those who harass women on our streets. We will make it our mission to halve the levels of violence against women and girls. Labour will have zero tolerance for crime, but it will also have zero tolerance for those who tolerate crime. Right. So no contrition and no apologies for what has been absolute gutter politics even members of his own front bench are distancing themselves from. And even Labour big beasts like Gordon Brown and David Blunkett, new Labourites, sure, but even they have been appalled at how low Starmer is punching. It's not squeamishness, it's disgust. What made me laugh is Starmer again writing in a right-wing Tory-centric rag, because amidst this article were 3 links to other articles attacking Starmer. So he's not winning anyone at the paper over with his arse-kissing to Tory media. And in fact, they're intentionally undermining his article by linking to other articles, putting the boot into him. But he never learns. He still thinks he can win Tory voters over to him by attacking the Tories in their own papers, when the papers will keep on undermining him anyway. I'm no Tory voter. I have never voted for them, and I never will. But this does nothing to convince me to vote a Labour, because it's all bashed the Tories and tells me nothing about how Labour would do better. It's all vote for us. We don't know what we're doing, let alone how to do it, but we aren't them, so we must be better. It's poor politics and it's poor taste. Starmer, of course, referred to his time as Director of Public Prosecutions in this piece. He started the article with it. He can't ever not mention it, can he? But we, of course, know that the sentencing guidelines relating to child sexual assault that he's accused Sunak of being soft on, that he's attacked in this piece as well, that he was on the Sentencing Council of the Crown Prosecution Service at the time those guidelines were written. He was part of the team that wrote them. So if those sentence guidelines, which the law follows, are soft on child sexual predators, why did he, as part of the Sentencing Council, not make them stronger when he was in a position to do so? In what way is that Sunak's fault more than yours, Keith? In fact, his time as Director of Public Prosecutions has recently come under fire as well, because not only is he a terrible Labour leader, dishonest and authoritarian as he is, but he was widely disliked at the Crown Prosecution Service too. A survey taken halfway through Starmer's tenure as Director of Public Prosecutions back in 2011 found the Crown Prosecution Service to be badly managed and failing. The survey was conducted amongst Crown Prosecution Service staff. It was determined that under Starmer, only 1 in 14 staff felt that reforms he was introducing would improve prosecution rates. Only 1 in 12 felt the changes were being managed well. And when senior CPS staff were told of these results, the staff involved in the survey were ordered to go for retraining. Now, of course, the Crown Prosecution Service is a non-ministerial government department. The piece was written to attack the government for its failings, but the department itself was run by Starmer, not a minister overseeing it, clues in the name, and he didn't get off the hook in this survey either. Just 21% of staff believed Starmer's actions, as well as those of his senior staff, were in keeping with the values of the Crown Prosecution Service, and only 12% of them thought the service was managed well. Compare and contrast to what he's doing in Labour now. He's always been a shit leader, clearly. He thinks he's great. The dog's bollocks, but he's showing the country now why he absolutely isn't. Why he's far more of a dog's dinner. Staff couldn't believe off the back of this they were getting sent for retraining. Those are the actions of somebody who cannot accept they're ever wrong, cannot accept any failings. If somebody isn't working, if something isn't working, it must be somebody else's fault. So this brings us neatly back to the here and now. Despite his Mail column, there are indications a blame game might be afoot. A number of Labour front benchers have been sharing a puff piece regarding Shabana Mahmood, Labour's election coordinator. Not a particularly well-known MP. She's right-wing. She seconded Starmer's motion to block Jeremy Corbyn from standing to be a Labour candidate recently. But the link between her and campaign coordinator, and the fact so many leading figures on the Labour front benches are suddenly sharing this on social media, are raising suspicions that she could end up being a fall guy, so to speak, for this ill-judged move. The person apparently charged with delivering these posters, and the most vociferous Labour MP in sharing them, has been Steve Reid, who might also be being lined up to take a dive for Keith. It was arguable that all this was delegated out to such MPs while Starmer had maintained his silence on it all, although Deborah Mattinson, his Director of Strategy, sharing the post too, led most people who pay an unhealthy amount of attention to such things, like myself, to believe he was aware, since she would only act surely on his say-so. But now that he's come out and defended it all himself, it's beyond doubt this barrel-scraping, low-life campaign strategy was done with his consent. And of course, he still believes he's right, because evidently Keir Starmer is not somebody who ever thinks they're ever wrong. That's not to say it's running well with the public. Labour's poll lead in the latest opinion poll is down to just 11%, down from 37% last October. And because of boundary changes ahead of the next election, anything less than around a 9% lead for Labour is starting to look like hung parliament territory. This poll was incidentally conducted before the ads began, so we'll wait and see how much damage has been done before much longer in the next set of polls. 60% of ex-Labour members now will not vote Labour while Starmer remains leader. Not only that, an article this morning by super Blairite John Rentoul at The Independent has attacked Starmer as well over his mud-slinging campaign. And if Starmer's handlers aren't happy, who are the people who have Rentoul's ear, well, he could well be in very deep trouble. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated this video, please do hit a like and subscribe, leave a comment and hit the notification bell too so you don't miss the next one. Also look out for me on social media and other interesting stuff by clicking on the Linktree link in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Cheers, folks.